Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today we are taking a look at, well, the ultimate selection headache one created not by coaches, but by the fans themselves.
Exactly. We are diving deep into what happens when the public, the passionate, the historically minded South African rugby public gets to pick its all-time greats. This is the definition of a pub argument that will never, ever end.
That's right. Our mission is to really break down the results of this fan-voted Springboks Dream XV. It was a team chosen to celebrate 30 years since that iconic 1995 Rugby World Cup win, and it all came out of a massive campaign by SuperSport.
Yeah, and this wasn't just some quick online poll. It was months long. They went position by position to create what they're calling the dream team of the professional era. And while it was all in good fun, the results, they're really revealing.
Oh, the outcome is absolutely intriguing. It shows this really distinct, powerful lean toward the 2007 World Cup vintage. And because of that focus, some truly colossal names, some of the most inspirational leaders in all of sport, got left out of the starting lineup.
It's a huge talking point.
It is. And if you love diving into these selection debates and the history of the Springboks, you should absolutely subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the game's biggest stories.
Okay, so let's just unpack the biggest headline immediately because it really dictates the entire makeup of this team.
The shocker is profound. Look across the three professional World Cup triumphs, 95, 2007, and the back-to-back victories of 2019 and 2023. Not a single Rugby World Cup winning Springboks captain made the starting XV.
Not one.
In their respective positions.
It sounds unbelievable when you say it out loud, but it's true. Francois Pienaar, John Smit, and Siya Kolisi, arguably the three most iconic figures of their wins, are all on the outside looking in.
It's like the fan base just divorced the immense legacy of captaincy from the sheer, raw performance of the player in that specific jersey number.
That's it. The question wasn't who was the better leader. It was who was the more dominant force in that position.
So what does that tell you? What attributes actually trumped that kind of leadership?
Well, with Pienaar, his legacy is tied to the new South Africa. For Smit, he was the anchor of that '07 front row. And Kolisi, he embodies the inspirational leadership of the modern era, but in every single case, the public chose a player whose individual specialized brilliance in their prime was just deemed superior.
And you see this preference play out in the actual breakdown of the players. Every single member of the starting XV is a World Cup winner, which, says a lot about the depth. But the blend of eras really favors the men in white under Jake White.
It's so clear when you look at the numbers. 8 players featured in that 2007 success. That's more than the 7 players from the Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Nienaber back-to-back champion sides.
And maybe the most telling stat of all, only one player, Oz Durant, comes from that beloved 1995 squad. It shows you that, memory fades. This team celebrates the power and impact of what you might call the mid-professional era.
For sure. That 2007 side seems to represent the perfect balance of physicality and flair that just resonates the most with the voters.
And that dominance of 2007 really defined the backline selections, starting right at number 15.
Absolutely. At fullback, you've got Percy Montgomery. He was a foundational piece of that '07 win, the prolific goal kicking, the reliable play from the back.
And he beat out some huge names, Andre Joubert from the old era, but also modern guys like Willie Leroux and Damien Willemse.
Right. And Montgomery was that steady hand. With him, you knew what you were getting. When you compare him to Leroux, you're choosing that reliability over, say, Leroux's more unpredictable playmaking style. The fans went for the solidity of 2007.
And nowhere is that nostalgia clearer than the midfield.
Oh, definitely not.
The public went straight for that iconic 2007 center pairing. Jean de Villiers at 12 and Jacques Fourie at 13. That pairing defined attacking rugby for a whole generation.
It did. But think about who they left out. You're talking about Lucanio Am and Damien Delon, the guys who anchored those back-to-back World Cup wins.
And that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because Am's defensive genius in 2019 was legendary. Delonde is a human wrecking ball. So were the fans just prioritizing the flair and speed of de Villiers and Fourie over the defensive mastery of the current guys?
I think so. De Villiers with his line breaks, Fourie with his pure speed on the outside. It's a more, let's say, eye-catching style. Am and Delonde are phenomenal, but so much of their brilliance is the unseen work, the defensive pressure, the brutal carries. The fans just seem to have a stronger visual connection to that 2007 dynamism.
Okay, moving to the wings.
Yeah.
One name was always going to be there. Brian Habana.
A lock. Absolute lock.
The book's all-time leading try scorer gets the left wing spot. His pace and scoring record just make it inevitable.
Yeah, the real debate was on the other side, on the right wing. And there they picked Cheslin Kolbe. He represents that pure electric agility of the current era.
And he beat out the late, great James Small and the 2007 winner J.P. Peterson.
He did. And Kolbe's selection is important. It shows fans do value that modern, game-breaking X factor. Peterson was so technically perfect, and Small was just fearless. But Kolbe, with that step, the ability to change a game on a dime, he just grabs your imagination.
And finally, the halfbacks. At 10, it's Handré Pollard, the man who kicked the box to 2 World Cup titles. And at scrum half, it's Fourie du Preez.
Another crucial piece of that 2007 machine.
But his selection is definitely not going to end the debate, is it? Because the legendary Joost van der Westhuizen, the 95 icon, was a nominee who missed out on starting.
That's a classic debate. Du Preez versus van der Westhuizen is like a vote between tactical control and pure, raw athleticism. Du Preez was the chess master. Joost was the bolt of lightning. It just reinforces that theme. The public preferred the controlled dominance of 2007.
The names are huge, the debates are endless, and if you are enjoying this deep dive, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more analyses like this one. We've only just scratched the surface here.
Okay, let's pivot to the forward pack, the engine room, where we find that lone 1995 player and the spot where Captain Kolisi was ultimately left out.
Starting in the front row at loosehead prop, it's Oost Durant. He's the only member of that 95 squad to make the XV, which is amazing. He's a double World Cup winner, 95 and 07.
His selection is just a testament to pure dominance and longevity. Think about who he beat. Stephen Kitchoff, the Beast, Oxnotch. Durant was this man mountain who could move. He represents a kind of timeless scrumming power.
At hooker, Malcolm Marx gets the nod. And this was maybe the most hotly contested position. He beat out former captain John Smit, Bismarck du Plessis, and Bonji Mbonambi.
And Marx really reflects the modern game, right? He's a breakdown specialist, a genuine turnover machine in the number 2 jersey.
The contrast is so clear. Smit was the steady, granite-like captain. Marx is the explosive, game-breaking force. The public went for dynamism over leadership again.
And completing the front row at tight head is Franz Muller, a guy from the back-to-back championship teams, a modern anchor. He's the anti-flare pick, just pure scrumming power.
Then we get to the locks. Eben Etzebeth and Victor Matfield.
What a pairing. This is probably the most balanced selection in the entire team. You get the power of the current era with Etzebeth and the brains of the 2007 era with Matfield.
You really couldn't ask for a better combination. Matfield, the line-out general, the architect, and then Etzebeth, the enforcer, the guy who sets the physical tone. They just perfectly complement each other.
They do. And now we get to the loose forwards. This is where that Captain Snub theme just comes roaring back.
It really does. At number 8, you have Duane Vermeulen, a warrior. His selection feels almost guaranteed, given his durability and just legendary performances.
He was immense. Then you get the 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year, Pieter-Steph at blindside. He is the definition of a modern 7, the high tackle count, the line-out option, the guy who just shuts down attacks.
But the open side flanker, number 6, this is the one we have to talk about. Schalkberger got selected.
Famously picked over both Siya Kolisi and Francois Pienaar. Even Rassie Erasmus was a nominee who missed out.
So this is the definitive statement.
It has to be. The fans chose Berger's sheer, fearless physicality, his almost reckless abandon at the breakdown over the inspirational leadership and modern all-around game of Kolisi. Berger was just seen as the most dominant, hard-hitting flanker, period.
So that trio Berger, du Toit, and Vermeulen, it just perfectly blends the dominant eras. It's 2007 aggression with 2019 and 2023 excellence. It's all performance-based, not narrative-based.
And we should quickly mention the bench, because it shows the depth of talent. The experts picked guys like Bismarck du Plessis, the Beast, and crucially, 2 of the big snubs, Siya Kolisi and Joost van der Westhuizen.
Right, so those legends are still recognized, even if they're not in the starting XV. That bench makes for an incredible 23. But our focus is on what that starting team tells us.
And the main takeaway is clear. The public's memory gravitates toward the power and defining players of that 2007 era, especially in the midfield and the back row. Those names just struck a deeper, more lasting chord than even the back-to-back champions' captains.
So here's something to think about. The fans chose performance over the immense symbolic weight of Pienaar, Smit, and Kolisi. It suggests that for the diehard fan, the memory of positional dominance trumps historical legacy. Which makes me wonder, will Siya Kolisi's fate in these votes change in, say, 15 years, once the emotional immediacy of his wins fades a bit?
That's a great question. Time definitely changes how we see these things.
We want to hear from you. Which selection surprised you the most? Was it leaving out a defensive genius like Lucanio Am? Or was it choosing Schachberger over Siya Kolisi? Let us know who you think the biggest snub was. Leave your thoughts and opinions.
And don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you get your deep dives. We love hearing your passionate responses to these debates.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
And we will look forward to listening to our next episode.